Have you ever gazed up at the night sky and wondered if there is more to those twinkling lights than meets the eye? What if I told you that according to ancient texts, the universe holds many mysteries that we are only beginning to uncover? One such tale comes from the Book of Enoch, a pseudepigraphal work that tells the story of a man named Enoch, son of Jared and father of Methuselah. According to the text, Enoch was a righteous man who walked closely with God. Let's embark on a journey through these 10 heavens and find out what secrets they hold. In fact, he was so beloved by God that he was taken up to heaven without tasting death, and what he saw there would terrify you. It seemed like a peaceful and serene place, but Enoch soon realized that there was more to these clouds than met the eye. According to Enoch, the clouds were actually inhabited by angels known as the Watchers. The second heaven was a dark and gloomy place filled with fallen angels who had rebelled against God. These angels were chained up and screaming in torment, unable to move or speak. Enoch saw righteous people who had died and gone to heaven. They were sleeping peacefully, waiting for the day when they would be resurrected. He watched as giant angelic beings pulled the sun along its path, making sure it reached every corner of the earth. Enoch learned that these angels were responsible for keeping track of time and seasons, and they followed a strict schedule set by God himself. He also saw the stars in all their glory and realized that they too were part of God's grand plan. But this idyllic scene was shattered when Enoch saw a dark cloud hanging over the other side of the third heaven. As he looked closer, he saw a land of darkness, flame, and punishment. The souls of the wicked were crying out in agony, begging for mercy. He was overwhelmed by the sight of God's glory and fell on his face before him. Enoch saw angels with countless wings, faces like suns and thrones beyond number. He realized that the stars were not just twinkling lights in the sky, but living forces in themselves. Each star had its own angel who sang its praise to God and kept it in its place. Enoch saw the seasons, fates, and divine signs being woven together by the angels and realized that nothing happened without God's knowledge and consent. He saw the archangels Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Phanuel, each with their own mission over nations and kingdoms. Enoch learned that God was in control of everything, and that he was just a small part of God's grand plan. Enoch saw the elders worshiping God and bowing with their crowns, casting them before the throne. Will your name be written in the records of heaven? We hope that you have gained a deeper understanding of the mysteries of the universe and the possibilities that await us after death. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends. Until next time, may God bless you and keep you in His light. Amen. Will you rise into the 10 heavens or fall with the Watchers? Choose wisely, for your eternity depends on it. He learned that only the blameless could rise to this level of heaven, and that he himself was not worthy to enter. Enoch realized that this was a warning for him and for all humanity. If they continued to live wicked lives, they would end up in this place of torment. Enoch learned that they had been imprisoned here for their sins, and would remain there until the end of time. He witnessed firsthand the horrible consequences of disobeying God and vowed to stay true to his path. These angels were responsible for guarding the natural world and recording the deeds of humanity. Enoch described them as tall, radiant, and fierce beings who held back storms and other natural disasters until God gave the word. He was afraid to go any further, but he knew that he had to see what God had shown him. He wanted humanity to know what awaited them after death and to encourage them to live righteous lives. Enoch returned to earth and shared his vision with the world. He warned people about the dangers of sin and the importance of living a godly life. He taught them about the 10 heavens and the possibility of going to heaven or hell after death. And when he saw God, he fell on his face before him. Enoch saw God, not as a man, but as light, majesty, and voice. He heard the final judgments being declared and the destinies being sealed. He saw creation begin and end before his very eyes. They were neutral, having neither joined Lucifer and his followers in their rebellion nor fought against them. Enoch saw that these angels were in deep sorrow, mourning the loss of their former glory. He learned that they had abandoned their posts and failed to do their duty, and now they were stuck in this liminal space between heaven and hell. Enoch felt pity for them, but he also realized that their fate was a warning for him. If he ever lost faith or abandoned his duty, he too could end up in this sorrowful state. He also learned that these angels kept watch over humans, recording every word, action, and even secret thought. Throughout his journey, Enoch was shown 10 heavens, each one more awe-inspiring and terrifying than the last. These angels were tasked with watching over humanity and recording their deeds. Some were scribes who wrote down every word and action, while others were judges who decided whether a person would go to heaven or hell. Enoch learned that every human life was weighed in the balance and that every thought and deed would be judged. He realized that he was accountable for his actions and that he needed to make sure that his deeds were good and pure. But before we begin our journey, don't forget to subscribe. By subscribing, you will be joined in a community of believers who are just as curious as you are about the mysteries of the universe and the secrets of faith. 1. The clouds and the watchers. When God took Enoch up to the first heaven, he saw fluffy white clouds floating lazily in the vast expanse of the sky, squared the prison for fallen angels. As Enoch ascended higher into the heavens, he began to see more terrifying sights: cubed paradise and torment. The third heaven was a stark contrast to the previous one. It was a beautiful and peaceful place filled with lush gardens, sparkling rivers, and singing birds. The movements of the sun and moon. The fourth heaven was where Enoch saw the sun and moon moving through the sky. The grieving watchers. The fifth heaven was where Enoch met a group of angels who were neither good nor evil. Angels of judgment and recording. The sixth heaven was where Enoch saw the angels of judgment and recording, the Lord's throne in light. The seventh heaven was where Enoch finally saw the throne of God, the circle of the stars. In the eighth heaven, Enoch saw the circle of the stars, the purest angelic realm. The ninth heaven was the purest of them all. It was a place where no man could enter except by the voice of God, where God himself dwells. Finally, Enoch reached the 10th heaven, the highest of them all. And then God spoke to Enoch and told him to go back to earth and write down everything he had seen. So the question is, what will you choose? Will you live for this world or prepare for the next? Thank you for joining us on this journey through the 10 heavens.